your dream job? That's going to be our conversation today on the Closers platform, and I'm very excited that I'm here with Jose Perez.
Hi, how you doing, Susan?
Very well, thank you. Jose is one of the two brokers with Real Estate Professionals of Florida. We'll talk about the second broker a little later in the show.
Sure.
But right now, you spent how many years working in corporate America?
I spent about 30 years in corporate America doing management consulting.
Okay.
Not only nationally, but internationally as well.
Okay.
Many types of industries, from banking to healthcare to mining to running down on a boat down the Amazon.
Oh, wow.
I kind of run the gamut, done all kinds of things. It was a great career. Learned a lot, but yeah. Now,
and you traveled how much?
Probably 52 weeks out of the year I was gone.
Really?
And sometimes I was gone for 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it was very taxing on the family life and and you were gone for a lot. You missed a lot of stuff. That's one of the harder things.
But tell me, before we get off of that topic, Jose, what was the best thing about that corporate life, about the travel? What was the best thing for you?
So, one of the great things, besides accumulating a lot of frequent flyer points, right, or hotel points, it's meeting the different people, different cultures around the world, and understanding how people are and how people are very similar in some cases, but also very similar because cultures and cultural differences make people act and react a little bit different to different things. So you have to learn and be cognizant and watch, listen, and learn so that you can understand how you interact better with different people.
So what you're saying is when people are different, there's something the same about them also.
Sure. We're all humans. We're all people. We're all out here working, trying to make a living, take care of our families, take care of our friends, take care of ourselves, right? Be successful in our careers. But at the end of the day, how you approach some of those people and some of those things, you have to be a little bit different because culturally, different cultures react and act differently. And, in America, we have the go, go, go.
Right.
In some of the countries, that's not necessarily so.
So where, for instance, did you have to move the slowest to acclimate to their culture?
Right. So, many of the Latin American countries, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I understand that rather well, But yeah, in many Latin countries, you have to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
And even in some European countries, for example, some of the countries in Europe, Italy for one, August is the holiday month. So you're not going to get much done in the month of August because everybody goes on holiday.
Right.
So you have to, again, adjust and learn how to maneuver around those
Well, good.
things.
And just real quickly, your favorite place that you traveled to?
I'm going to go back to Italy, followed closely by Australia.
Okay.
Both were fantastic. I love South America. Spent a lot of time down there. But Italy, it's just fantastic because I don't know if you had the opportunity.
Not yet.
But it's fantastic.
But one day. I will go one day. And then without getting you into any trouble, what was the most difficult place to travel to where unexpectedly it wasn't your favorite trip?
It actually happens to be in South America as well. But it was a gold mine in Suriname.
Okay.
And in order to get there, you have to fly to some of the Caribbean islands. You're supposed to stay on these roads, but the roads take 2 to 3 times as long to get to the camp.
Oh, no.
So we're running through the jungle and at the middle of the night in this bus, and you see houses, but there's no lights.
Right.
They're dark. Just no power.
It was frightening.
No power out there. So it's very okay, what am I doing out here? Am I going to make it out?
Yeah, but you made it out.
I did.
And you came back home.
I did.
And you made a decision after 30 years that you wanted your dream job. And your dream job was what?
My dream job, was for my wife and I to start a real estate company. So Jennifer and I started Real Estate Professionals of Florida, Real Estate Pros, that's what we go by. And we did that 5 years ago.
Right.
And we're very blessed to have to have had that opportunity to do that.
And Jennifer was in real estate. By the way, that's the second broker, his wife, Jennifer.
Johnson, yeah, Jennifer Johnson.
Jennifer Johnson, and she was in real estate before you joined her and you guys created your own company.
Yes, she was in family real estate business. Her family used to own a Century 21 franchise.
Right.
Called Real Estate Professionals of Florida, which is why we came up with Real Estate Pros. Kind of pay homage to the family business.
Love that, love that. So you two started your own brokerage 5 years ago. And what principles or what philosophies did you decide to build that on?
Right. So, the industry has gone through a lot of changes. Everybody knows, right? I mean, there's new people disrupting the business, new type of industry companies out there trying to come up with different models. But we felt like we wanted to start the business a little bit more in the traditional way, the way Jennifer was raised in the real estate business. So, we kind of followed that lead where more of a mother, father, small business, don't want to grow too fast. I was in consulting, and I worked for companies that were, when I started, were very little, and in a matter of 3 years, we triple 4 times the size of the company.
Right.
So I'm like, let's go fast. And she's like, no, let's
slow down.
Do it the right way. But, the philosophies, it's professionalism. Something that's missing in the business, unfortunately, I think. But professionalism, ethics, honesty, integrity, working hard, those are the things that really...
Did you join real estate because you wanted to work less than you worked in corporate America?
Absolutely not. I just wanted to be closer to home.
Right.
I wanted to have an opportunity to spend time with my family that I was not having before.
Right, okay. So you didn't want to work less.
Well, you're not going to work less in real estate if you want to succeed, right?
Right, exactly. So do you interview new agents?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we interview agents, we will look for experienced agents, new agents, people with several years experience, people that may or may not want to join teams.
Right.
People that may or not know how to develop or find their own leads.
Right.
But, the main thing we hear from people that want to get into the business is, why do you want to get into real estate? Well, it's flexible. It gives me the flexibility to work when I want to and work when I don't want to or have to, or whatever the reason may be, right? Sometimes because some real estate agents have other jobs. Sometimes it's because they have families that take with them. But, they love that flexibility. And yes, it allows you some flexibility, right? But I always tell them, the problem with real estate agents that are looking for flexibility is that you can become so flexible that you will not have a job.
Right. You won't succeed.
You will not succeed. So you can flex yourself right out of work and right out of money because I'm so flexible that I don't work.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Because I don't have to stick to a structured schedule.
Right. And that's one of the hardest things for anybody, including myself, is to put that routine into place. And what do I do Monday, in the mornings, in the middle, in the day?
I know you have a few agents that are part-time, but because they keep structure when they're working, they're still able to have the level of success that they desire because they're carving out that time. So there's a difference, and I think it's important that our viewers hear that. If you want to get into real estate and work part-time, that's fine. There's been some success there, but get educated, get trained. Don't shortchange your clients or your prospects because you're part-time. You still have to have the knowledge and the expertise behind you, but you can work part-time as long as it's focused time.
Right, as long as it's focused time. And like you said, you have to go train.
Right.
Train. Take the opportunity to take any class that you can, particularly now that's online. You don't have to drive anywhere. You can sit at home and your Zoom meeting or whatever and take as many classes as you can. Get certified as a buyer's agent or a seller's agent or military rep.
Right.
Or, working with a certain segment of the population. Go get those certifications so that you know how to become better. So when you are working, you're focused. But, some of our part-time agents, they have a family and they have to segment and partition their work. But we train them.
Right.
And we give them 100% support from 2 brokers.
Yeah,
at
talk
any
about
time.
that. Why didn't just you or Jennifer get your broker's license? Why did both of you?
Well, she got her license first, obviously, because she's been in the business a lot longer. So, you know, to get your broker's license, you have to be a sales associate for at least 2
Right.
years. But we wanted to get the brokers so that we can be that support, that training, so that any agent at any time, when they couldn't find Jennifer, they knew they could pick up the phone and call Jose.
Right.
On the way here, one of our agents called Jen. She was busy. She called me and goes, hey, I got this problem with an inspection, and my client wants this, and the seller wants that, and blah, blah. And we just talk it out, you
Right.
know? And she's our top producer. Okay, she kills it out there. Okay? And she has flexibility. She takes some time off for her children and her grandkids, but she works, and she works very hard. And but she still comes to us and asks questions and goes to get trained and listens and practices the things that we talked about.
Right, and you do 2 brokers because one of your philosophies and one of the things in your business is to have somebody available at all times that can help from a broker level.
Correct.
That's
correct.
great.
Correct, because our agents are anything from, how do I get an e-sign, so how do I negotiate, particularly those are, you know, what does that mean from a contract standpoint? You know, when I tell my agents, you know, in your spare time, you can do some great reading. Go read real estate contracts.
Really?
Go learn them. Really, you have to really sit down and understand and what you're
Do you think in
presenting.
our industry there's a problem with realtors not understanding the real estate contract?
Yeah, there is.
There is.
There's a lot of things that people try to shortcut. I believe there's some agents that are not getting the support or the direction that they need to from their brokers. I think the advent of the 100% real estate brokerage had a little bit of impact on that.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're all like that, right? But just because you're 100% commission, you know, doesn't mean that you can't get the support that you want.
Right, and just because you're part-time doesn't mean you should shortcut the things that you need to know to represent a buyer or seller, right?
And just because you're part-time doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the business the right way.
Right.
You should always do the business with integrity, professionalism, 100% of the time, all the time. And we rather you fault on the side of that than on the salt of taking chances when you don't need to.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
put yourself at risk and put the brokerage at risk.
Right, and possibly create a problem for your customer.
Correct. Which we want to protect the customer at all times, 100% of the time.
Good.
And companies like yours, you know, like Fidelity is one of our partners. You know, Adam Woodall and Tim Spicer and Melody, they're fantastic. Anytime we have an issue, they're quick to fix it. So you have a great team, Susan.
Well, I think that the same thing you said, thank you, about you and Jennifer with our team at Fidelity, whether it's our Waterford branch or another branch, we're all interchangeable.
Correct.
So if you can't reach Tim or Melanie because they're in a closing, you can reach Adam. And if you can't reach Adam, you can reach Tim or Melanie. And
Right.
you always know you can call me if you
Right.
can't reach one of them for some reason. But because we all care so much, we're interchangeable. And that's what you and Jennifer have built also in your company. If you can't reach one, you can reach the other.
Right.
And that is great.
And then from the gears of running the company, you know, she can focus on some things and I focus on other aspects of it. You
Where's
know,
your
of my
strength and where's her strength?
So, you know, my strength is I do the financials and all the IT and software and the social media and all those things. Her side is coaching, training, supporting the agents. So we have a really
That's kind of stereotypical male-female there, you guys.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, I'm a pretty darn good trainer, but
Really? Okay.
I am. I did a lot of training those 5 years as consulting. And my problem was I would train my project managers to do the training with the client. And I would do some of the sessions so they can see how to do it. And then the client wanted me to do it all the time.
Right, exactly. You're too darn good. You're too darn good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, so you and Jennifer split duties.
Yep.
And you stick with your strengths and her strengths, so you're dividing and conquering.
Right, but when the training program, which, like I said, is very robust, it could take up to 5 weeks to go through completely.
Okay.
There's aspects of it that she does, and there's aspects that I do.
Oh, good.
Why? Because we want to make sure that the agents are trained. But, you know, it typically breaks down those same lines, right?
Right.
She'll focus on contract, that side. I'll focus on the IT and
That's wonderful. That's good. And talk about, and have you gotten with Adam, by the way, where Bill Risser, who works for he's our digital VP of digital strategy, can teach some things on Remine and other things that are really realtor focused, but he is really dynamic at those things.
Yeah, we haven't taken advantage of that as good as we should.
You need to.
The Remine thing is fairly new on my radar, so I'm just trying to get versed on that.
So before you spend your time getting versed, get with Adam to get with Bill and let Bill verse you.
Very good.
Because you can really shortcut, in a positive way, some of your time in. So I really recommend that you do that.
Thank you.
So you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You all, Jennifer, and you both have decided, again, work ethic, honesty, integrity, professionalism, training. Those are all things that are really the foundational things of your brokerage.
Correct.
Now that we move from those standards that you have set, you also have 3 or 4 different business models. We've talked about somebody part-time could work for you, somebody full-time. You mentioned somebody that wants to build a team or somebody that wants to be a single agent. Can we talk about those two things a little bit?
So, in today's business model, you can either be a full, complete 1099 agent that's focused on their own business, if you will, as an individual. And you also know that there's a lot of teams out there that are very large, very successful, that have done very well. And so there's that team model. So, we allow our agents to go whichever course they want.
And you think that you have the ability to coach and train and educate them whether they want to build a team or be a single agent.
Right. So, if you wanted to build a team, there's a little bit different ways you have to structure your organization within the brokerage. Within our team, Jennifer and I have a buyer's agent that works with us.
Okay.
Buyer and listing agent.
Gotcha.
Because we don't like people to be focused just on being a buyer or being a seller. We want to teach you the whole business.
Love that.
And then you can decide what's my fit. Or do I want to be, am I good enough to do both sides?
Right. Okay.
Because some people like working with buyers, some people like working with
So
listings.
you want to make sure your agents are exposed to both sides.
We're very well versed on both.
Okay.
And can manage the transaction, the client, to ensure success from a buyer or seller standpoint.
I love that. And then they get to choose which side they lean towards, but they have the knowledge of both.
Right. And if you have a team, the team leads typically the rainmaker, and the team may have people that focus on buyers and sellers. So how do you structure that? Within your own structure, and then how does that fit within the brokerage, right? The independent agents is obviously just a lot easier. It just, and we have agents that fit the traditional commission model. Okay, so whatever that split may be at the time that you negotiate at the time, or the 100%er.
Okay, so you have options, and then let's say you have an agent that has their license but doesn't want to be a part of the MLS, but just has the opportunity to refer business.
Right. So we have a Real Estate Pros Referral Company. And that is exactly what the point of that is. You become a licensed real estate agent. You don't want to pay for the fees, or you can't, or you're trying to work your way into the business.
Right.
So you join our referral company and you start referring business. Doesn't mean you can't buy or sell real estate.
Right.
Because you're a licensed agent, right? But you can refer the business, continue to, work your way into it, and at some point you can start buying and selling within that structure.
Right.
And then when you're ready to become a realtor, then you can join the National Association of Realtors, join the board, and then have all those access to those tools.
And there's several people, different categories that might fit that. It might be somebody with their license, right? Yes, with their license that just has an amazing sphere but doesn't want to be an active real estate agent.
So they would just refer the business to us.
Right.
And then we would handle the transaction from start to close.
And are you trustworthy for them to do that?
I think so, yeah.
You think so. And dependable?
And dependable. You're talking to the broker, right?
Exactly.
So, we have 5 stars on Google and only 5 stars. We don't have anything less.
Good.
And it's very challenging to keep it that way, but we like the challenge. And we will make sure that we will do everything possible that at the end of that transaction, you will give us a 5-star review.
So I would say that between your corporate experience and Jennifer's practical homegrown real estate business, that quantity is great, but quality is more important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
We could have gone for the large enterprise. Doesn't mean that we don't want to grow, but we want to grow the right way.
Right.
So we doubled every year for the first 3 years. Then we said, okay, we need to kind of
Balance out,
see where we are. How do we want to, run the business? What model works? And that's, in conversation with real estate brokers, with title people like you guys, with mortgage brokers, I remember somebody said, what about doing a hybrid model? And it's like, well, we are kind of doing that, but that's a great way of
right.
Let me put some thought behind that, and some, and
So you're teaching, but you're also learning.
Absolutely, you have to learn every day.
Yeah. So if you had just one thing that you think best represents you and Jennifer, what would that statement be?
Yeah, it's doing the right thing all the time, even when nobody's watching.
I like that. I like that.
Because that is the sign of control, of integrity and honesty and professionalism. When nobody's looking, but you're still doing the right things, that's important.
That's important.
And that's important to the customer, because we want to make sure that our clients out there, our customers out there, whether they're buyers or sellers, refinancing, whatever the reason may be, that they feel confident and they feel trustworthy of the realtor or of the licensed real estate agent or of the title agent that they're working with. That those people have their best interests at heart. And they're going to do the right thing for me even when I'm not watching them or checking up on them.
That's good. So we start talking about creating your dream job.
Right.
And really, what I want our viewers' takeaway to be today is that Jose's dream job was being able to take the traditional values that you and your wife have and take your years of experience corporately and just bring them to your own community.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
to Orlando every day. And you had the wonderful benefit when you did that to be closer to family, 4 children,
4 children,
2 grandchildren,
2 grandkids, and a third one on the way.
and a third one on the way. And then it would be remiss of us to say that because you're home every day, not traveling the way you did, you have a Harley Davidson that you get to ride whenever you want to?
I get to ride my Harley. Not enough.
Not enough, but more than you did when you were traveling 50 weeks out of the year.
Yeah, that was very seldom. I think I had that bike for the first 5 years. I might have put 5,000 miles on it.
Well, you're making up for time now. I want to thank you for coming on today.
I want to thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Just an opportunity, and that's what this show's about, the opportunity for people to tell their story. Thank you for telling yours.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, viewers, for watching today. I'm Susan West on the Closers platform. Again, a show about closers, for closers, with closers. And I'll see you again next week on Thursday. Same time, same place.
That's a